Hey guys, Blue Kool-Aid here. Give you a video. Hey, I've been kind of racking my brain a little bit on how to show everybody how to see if CME or solar flares or whatever is Earth facing. It's not really all that difficult to figure out, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in this video. But the main thing I want to stress here is that we have to be really paying attention this week. We got this sunspot that a lot of people are watching, including Scott and myself and many others. Um, Me and Scott, we converse frequently. Uh, so, I mean, we're trying to stay up on this as much as we can, and he is doing a great job. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is from Cactus the other day. This is that big one we had the other day. These are captures that he sent me, and if you look, this is when we're seeing stuff in, on these tools. This is where Scott's catching most of the Planet X captures. I've seen a few of them myself. Scott has the awesome freaking software to convert these things up to 4K, and he's able to take the pixelization out of a lot of it, and it gives us a clearer picture. Now that's Cactus. Cactus is by nature blurry. There's not a whole lot. You can bump that up like Scott does. Can you imagine what this would look like if it wasn't bumped up? So what I'm saying is, guys, is that we are keeping a close eye on this, and this is something that we're probably going to be talking about quite frequently this week. I don't see it slowing down, and I'll show you here in a minute a couple things that I really want you guys to understand on how to look at this stuff for yourself. We want to keep you up to date as possible, but the fact of the matter is, it does take us a few hours to put together a video to give to you guys. So given that fact, if you want like up to minute, kind of real time stuff, I've always shown you guys how to go to these tools and look at them. Well, I'm going to go a little step further and show you guys the steps that at least myself go through to see if there's anything going on or if there's anything getting ready to happen, in my opinion, or any of that kind of stuff. So you guys can go look at it for yourself. But what I want to stress again here, guys, is that this sunspot that's coming back around has been renamed 2740, which is basically the same one that was 2738 and 2739, and I guess they kind of combined it into one as it came back around Earth facing. I don't want to say it's completely Earth facing yet, because it's not. It's still off to our left, if you want to say, if we're looking at the sun, just for lack of better terminology there, I'm just going to call it the left. It's basically the left limb of the sun, which would be, this view we got right here. This is the LASCO C2. This comes from SOHO, which is the view from Earth. SOHO is a satellite that sits out in front of the Earth and looks at the sun. Okay, so it orbits with the Earth. So that when we look at LASCO C2, it's as if we walk outside and look at the sun. So the sunspot, if you look here, this is back on 421. And this is what I want to show you guys, okay? Is basically, it's right about here, okay? And again, remember, this is back April 21st. Now you see the burst it had here. Okay, that's a CME. That isn't, I mean, that's pretty significant. Imagine if that was a few days before when that happened, and if it was right here. We definitely would have had some pretty crazy effects from that. I ain't saying, like I said, guys, I'm not trying to like hype anybody up here or anything like that, or hype anything up any bigger than what it needs to be, because we cannot tell how big a CME is going to be, or even how much it's going to affect us. We can take an educated guess at it. If we see like that well, let's just take it back here. If we see one like that, that's Earth facing, you know, that's why when me and Scott, both of us had the same reaction after talking to each other after we seen this, was like, oh my gosh, is that Earth facing? Well, why couldn't we have been able to tell if that was Earth facing by looking at this? Because this is deceiving. All right? What do I mean by that? This is an occulter. This is not the surface of the sun. Okay, so whatever's happening behind that, we can't see. So this CME could have been either Earth facing or blowing off the back. Okay, just by gauging, it's like this. This is basically its outline. Okay, so if you can kind of guess, if we were to look at it, and if this was Earth facing, it would have been heading in a direction something like this. Well, I mean, that was not very good. Okay, kind of like that. If you want to go to the middle of it. That doesn't mean that the energy is going to all follow that way. Obviously, you can tell that it didn't. Look at this. Okay, I mean, it spread out big. That was a good size CME. But at first, until we went to the sun views without the occulters, like the SDO view that we get, so, some of the SOHO. And by the way, SOHO's view of the sun hasn't updated since like the 23rd. And I don't know why. At least on the ISWA site, it's not updating, and I don't think it's updating anywhere. Now we are getting the LASCO C2 captures. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with the other tools that are on. I'm just going to call them cameras so everybody understands. They're not really cameras, but I just call them tools just to keep keep with that. I hope you guys understand what that means. It's just different captures is what I'll call it. How about that? Anyway, so you got this right here, and if this occulter wasn't there, we could see the surface of the sun. All right, and we would have been able to immediately tell if this came off the front or the back. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you guys that. But here we go with this. Okay, this is the 21st, and what I've done is I went through and I've counted these things from the 21st up till current day. All right, this is that same sunspot causing all of this. Well, in my opinion, and I think Scott's holding the same opinion as mine, that this sunspot's reacting with this Planetex object. Okay, whatever this object is. Okay, now I'm not just mapping out here big CMEs. I'm talking any activity that comes off of here, which could be small CMEs or flares, which is kind of what this looks like to me, is a flare. All right, which is still activity. Okay, because if we have a solar flare Earth facing, it still sends energy this way. So, and something else, when it is a CME, this thing here on the left usually will put like red and blue lines out in front to kind of map it out for you, because that's what that's designed to do. It's an early detection for CMEs. And something else I have to say here, guys, it takes 2 to 3, sometimes 4 days for a CME to reach Earth, depending on how fast it's moving. So when we see these things, that's why we bring them to you as fast as we can, because we got a day or two to at least say, hey, you know, maybe we ought to pay attention to what's going on. If it's a really, really big one, you know, then we'll really, you know, stress how important it is to do certain things. But as you can see, as I'm going through here, this is the 27th. Okay. 28th. I mean, this is like every day, guys. And this is the 30th. There's the big one on the 30th. That was the second one on the 30th, by the way. Okay. So these are happening, and this one here is on the 1st. Real close to the 30th, because look at the timestamp. I mean, these are happening one right after another from this same sunspot cluster. Okay. And again, even in this, I didn't even mean to do this, but look. Okay. What am I saying look for? Look. It's showing us stuff. Okay. This energy coming off of the sun is showing us certain things. Okay, we're seeing things because of these CMEs. Right now, I'm calling this a blessing, because if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't see these things. We just wouldn't. They're there. They're in the background there. They're able to either kind of mirror them out, or they just don't show up unless, because most of these objects are not giving off their own light. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind when we're looking at these. There's another one. That was on the third. And like I said, guys, look at that one. Okay, that's on the. I'm gonna show you guys this. This is what concerns me right now. This is the second, late in the day on the second. One. Okay, then we go to the third. Okay, it's just late in the day on. We'll just call this one 1. How about that? 1. There's another one on the third. 2. You might as well call that the third. It's real early in the morning on the 4th. Okay, and again, look, we can dig right in there and you can see stuff getting illuminated. So what was that, 3 or 4? 5, 6. Okay, this is a constant thing with this sunspot. All right. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to show you. I made a little crude little map. It's not to scale. Okay. I just want to show perspective here and how you guys can tell and go to these tools to be able to see if it's earth facing or not. Because honestly, that's what's important. All right. Now, if it's not earth facing, we don't talk about it a whole lot. We'll show it. We'll say, hey, that was a big one, but it went the wrong direction. Thank God. That kind of thing. You've heard us say that a lot of times. But but the thing is, we got to pay attention to this one because it is coming around earth facing. And I'll just tell you now, I caught something just a few minutes ago while I was doing this video. I think we're going to catch either a glancing blow of something off of that solar flare already. I'm not sure if it's going to. I couldn't really tell if the direction was actually right at us, or if it was going off to our, lack of a better term, off to our left a little bit. But I do think we might catch a glancing blow from this thing already. And I'll show you here in a minute. But, so, what we got here. This right here, guys, is basically, you guys can see in the middle, that says the sun. Okay, then I basically just made an orbit where the earth would go around the sun. And again, this is not to scale. Okay, now, SDO is right here. Okay, if you guys can see, it sits out right in front of the earth. I was going to put this in here, but just to make it simple, I didn't. SOHO, where we get the views from the LASCO C2, sits right out there with SDO2. It's just in a different spot. Basically, it's in the same line to the sun. Okay, it's just not as close, or it's not as close. I think SOHO actually sits out a little bit closer to the sun than what SDO does. But I did want to point that out because SOHO's right there. Has basically the same perspective as SDO and the Earth. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear before I go further here. So, anyway, SDO's right there. Okay, then we got Stereo A over here. Okay, what's on Stereo A? Well, the EUVI. Okay, EUVI is the same view we see from SDO, the sun pictures, but it's from this location over here. All right, and I'll explain further when I go into these things. I just want to map this out and show you guys a little basic here. But this is the perspective from each one of these satellites. Okay, SDO's here, Stereo A is here. When you hear us talk about Core 2, okay, when you hear us talk about Core 2 is over here on Stereo A. All right. So, and when you hear us talk about LASCO C2, it's on SOHO, which is basically right out here by SDO. Okay, just lack of a, like I said, it's not exact. This isn't to scale or anything. But I wanted to show you guys that perspective because that means a whole lot. All right, when we're trying to decide if this is Earth facing. So a basic little explanation here is if we had a CME over here blow this way, it would look as if it's coming right at you from the view of stereo A. But that would not be coming at Earth. It would just be going towards that satellite. Okay, now if we had one here, SDO would see it coming right at it, which in turn would mean that it would be coming right at the Earth. Okay, you guys understand that? I hope you guys can. I'm trying to do my best here, guys. So this is a very current capture. I took this a few hours back. Now this is stereo A. This is the view from off to the left. Now, like I said, if this sunspot was to blow, it would look like it would be coming right at us, right? But it wouldn't. It would be going way off to the left. Alright? This is SDO. This is that same sunspot. Okay, so you got that from that view. And then this is the view from SDO. So, if this one blew, it would be going this way, right? And we're over here. So that would not be Earth facing. Okay, this is the whole point of this. Alright, so what I've done is I've used that same little crude little map I made and put these next to their satellites. Okay, so these two pictures or captures were made at the same exact time. You see the difference of where the sunspots are from the perspective? Okay, SDO right here. Okay, so that wouldn't concern us if it had a CME right there. Stereo A, you see that? That wouldn't concern us either because these are the same captures. But what I'm saying is, if this one was to blow, if this sunspot did blow, it, you know, if you didn't know that stereo A was way over here, you would think that this was coming right at you, and it's not. Okay. So if you want just a little quick little whatever, like a little quick little data point, if you go to SDO or SOHO and look at these types of captures, like from the EUVI is from stereo A, but if you go to SOHO and SDO and look at these pictures of the sun, or these captures from the sun, if you see a CME that is like right there, you have to know that that's Earth facing. Okay? Now sometimes even when they're right there in the middle, they'll still have a direction. What do I mean by that? They don't necessarily... Let me X that out real quick. I'm going to zoom in. Okay? They don't necessarily, like say we had a CME come from right here. Earth is over here. Right? They don't necessarily have to blow directly at the Earth. Okay, they could actually blow off this way some, or this way some. I mean, they could blow any direction that they wanted. Okay, but even if they do blow that direction, we still get effects from a CME in an area probably, I don't know, no matter which direction it blows, probably about this area. It's not, like I said, this isn't an exact thing. I don't know that if there is a way to tell exactly. I'm sure that they have tools, but I don't know if we're even able to access those tools. So, if you hear us say, hey, there's a CME, and you guys want to go look at it for yourself that's Earth facing, go to SDO. Okay, and I'll leave links to these, okay? And this is on the ISWA site, ISWA. I think it's Integrated Space Weather or something. Site. That's what that stands for. It's what the ISWA stands for. But this is the difference of the views between the SDO and stereo A. Alright, so when we're looking at anything from stereo A, it's the one on the left. If we look at anything from SDO, it's the one here down towards the bottom right by the Earth. This is how we kind of decipher whether or not it's Earth facing or not. And again, like I said, there's other tools, but this is the basic one. Okay? So, I wanted to show you guys that. I'm not sure if I have any more caps. I think I got one more I wanted to show you here real quick. Okay, so basically I did this for you too. SDO, view from the Earth, is at the top. Stereo A, view from way over on the left. Okay, that's the difference. And again, I'll show you this little map here. Okay, so the Earth's down here at the bottom, stereo A on the left. That's where these satellites are at in space. So they have different perspectives. And I just wanted to, or different viewpoints is basically what I'll call them. So I did want to show you guys that because it's going to be important here in the next week, because I just showed you guys we had 15 to 16 in less than 2 weeks of eruptions from that solar flare. Not solar flare, sunspot. Okay. It could be solar flares, it could be CMEs. What's the difference? Well, the difference is a solar flare doesn't usually, it's just energy coming off of the sun. It doesn't usually carry any plasma or mass from the surface. That's why they call it coronal mass ejection. Okay, and not just a solar flare. A flare is basically, you can kind of think of it like a road flare. The sun's just blowing out that energy. Okay, it doesn't really have much mass with it. So anyway, that's how I understand it anyway. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to take you over here to seeds, and I'm going to show you guys something. And this is I'm going to show you exactly how I go look at these things and how I come across these, and I think that a lot of us do. All right, so I go look at the fifth. This is seed. This is LASCO C2. This is the view from the Earth, basically. This satellite sits out in front of the Earth. It's on SOHO, okay? So when we're looking at LASCO C2, we're looking as if we're looking from the Earth. Now, you're seeing on the left, you're seeing that sunspot, okay? Here's that sunspot. It's over here. And you're seeing a whole lot of activity over there. See that? That was a CME right there. It wasn't big, okay, and that's probably why not a whole lot of people have said anything about it yet. Not to mention that it wasn't too long ago when that happened. You see the red and blue lines I was telling you. Okay, that's what this tool is designed to do, is to detect that kind of stuff. All right, so that is the fifth. All right, well, we got a few captures from this on the 6th already. Okay, and I'm making this video about 5 in the morning. So, anyway. So, I see that, and that's all we get on this one. Alright? What I mean by all we get? Well, if you look down here at the timestamp, that's 1:36 a.m. UTC. Okay? I'm in Eastern time, so we're about 5-6 hours difference. So this thing is lagging right now, okay? It's not letting us see anything past this. I don't know why this does this pretty often, especially since we've been capturing and putting it out there. Me and Scott's been putting out those objects, and I think they're really deciphering some of the stuff we get to see now. Not all of it, but some of it. Anyway, so that's what we got to see, right? That's the last capture from that. So when I look at my time, okay, it's 5 a.m. where I'm at right now. All right, and I go down here and I notice this is at 1:36 a.m. Basically, I can just take that and make that 9:56 because of the difference from where I'm at to UTC. So we're missing 8 hours of data right here. Or this hasn't put it up on the site yet. Okay. We also have to keep in mind, guys, that these, like seeds, it takes the data from SOHO and shows us this. Okay. So that's what we're seeing. So sometimes the site doesn't update right away, and that's okay. But seeds is pretty good at staying current. So what do I do when I see stuff like over here? We're seeing a flare, basically. I'm like, well, okay. Is it going to be something bigger than a flare? What's going to happen? Right? That's the first capture on the 6th. That's the last capture. So I'm seeing something over here, right, at 1:36 a.m., and then I get no more data. So I'm like, man, wish I could see what's going on after that. Well, there's ways to do that. Okay, so we go to core 2. This is core 2 right here. All right, now this is only giving us one capture right here on seeds. All right, so we don't see much, right? So what I'm going to do, my next step would be to go to, well, actually, I usually go here. This is planetxnews.org. This is Scott's website over there. Great website for information. Bunches of articles he writes. It keeps you really up to date. You guys really should check out these articles. He posts a lot of Dr. Albert stuff over here. Plus a lot of his own, mainly his own stuff. But he does post some of Dr. Albert's articles. And you got over here, if you keep scrolling down, if you're on your phone, which is where I'm at right now, people have asked me also, why am I still using my phone because I have a computer? I still use my computer every day to do the research. I like this recorder. That's why I just make the video. I've done all the pics and stuff I showed you. I did all that on my computer, and I just transferred it over to my phone. So it would take me hours and hours and hours just to do all that on my phone, just to let you know. So when Mike hooked me up with that computer, and I can't thank him enough, it made my research so much better and so much faster. Anyway, this is ISWA. All right, so I go over here, and this is planetxnews.org, and this is all these links, right? These are all the tools we look at. So I'm going to go to ISWA, ISWA, which again, guys, stands for Integrated Space Weather Analysis. I think is what the abbreviation is. I'm gonna hit clear layout here. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you guys go over there to that site. Again, I'm going to leave a link. See the tabs up here at the top? It says solar, heliosphere, magnetosphere. We want to go to solar, okay? Because those are going to be the views from the sun, of the sun. So, first thing I do is I'll go to because we can go to LASCO on this site, okay? If you go to the tab, you see the tabs right here? If you go to tab 8, and I encourage everybody to go through all these tabs and educate themselves. It says SOHO LASCO C2 over here on the right. Now, what I like about this is, if you guys look at the timestamp, look how up to date that is. Okay, this ISWA site is almost right on it every time. So I have to keep that in mind. Something I noticed, you see this right here? Okay, that could be a capture flaw, or they've put that there on purpose. Most people wouldn't see that. That's why sometimes I think they do that on purpose. Because if you back out, would you guys have seen that? Just ask yourself that. Okay? If you've never looked at this before ever, you definitely wouldn't see that. Okay? So what are we looking at here? Well, like I said, this is the LASCO. So you hit the little movie button I just hit. Okay? And I know it takes a second. Now, something I noticed a minute ago. See the timestamp? Remember I showed you over there that we had like a 8-hour lag? Okay, that says 148. The next capture we get to see is at 6:01. So we're definitely not going to see 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours of info. Okay? We're just not going to see it. It's not there. It's gone. That data's gone. Just a little tidbit there. So why did they do that? Don't know. Could have been a flaw. Of course it could. But what I want you guys to understand is look right here. There's that sunspot. All right, I'm gonna back it up. That's at 1:36. That's at 6:48. Something's going on there. All right, it's flaring at the very least. I'll show you SDO here in a minute, and I think it's a CME, at least a small one. So we can take that on, and you can see how it's ejecting out a little bit there. Okay. Now that's not definite. Okay, it's not a definite Earth facing anything just by seeing her on LASCO C2. And again, I can't stress this enough either. This is the occulter. We cannot see the surface of the sun on this capture. Okay. So I'll go to Core 2 real quick just to show you what it looks like on Core 2, because on Core 2 we only seen one capture at 254, right? Over there at Seeds. We have to keep in mind this is oops, that was the wrong Core 2. There's a couple different Core 2s, guy. Was that the right Core 2? Holy cow. I think it might have been. Looks like it. Yep, it is. Whenever you see that like that, it's all grained out on Core 2 real bad. Normally it means the satellite itself is catching something. Catching some sort of energy. So I'm going to hit the movie button on this one. You can tell immediately what I mean by grainy. Alright. So I'm going to hit pause. Okay, you see that? Now this is the difference of the views. This is from Stereo A, Core 2. That's why the sunspot's in that position. I just showed you the one on LASCO, which is down here. And it's over here. Now do you guys understand the difference of these two? Actually, I'll just put it side by side up here. How about that? Core 2, Stereo A. LASCO C2. SOHO. View from the Earth. Okay? You see the difference? It's off to the right over here. And it's either closer to Earth facing or off to the left over here. Alright? So that is the difference there. So, how do I tell if that's Earth facing because we can't see the surface of the sun? Well, what we do is we go to SDO. And we look. I usually go to the 304 on that SDO, the 304 angstrom, because it does show us very, very clearly a lot of times when it does have filament releases and ejections. Okay? So I already know that I need to back this up some because I've already looked at this a minute ago, right before I did this video. I was going to do this video a little bit later, but then I seen this, and I was like, man, I better do one now. Not to mention I have to go to work here in a few hours. So, I'll change that. I used to walk through these a lot early on in my videos and show you guys the buttons to push. If you ever go here, just click on that and you see the number of frames. Okay, you got a number of frames and the highest you can see is 300. You can go backwards 300 frames and see that, and it'll put it in a time lapse for you. So you change, right there's where you change it, okay? And then you have to hit apply. And then you can, if you go over here, you'll see it loading. See it loading? 4, 5, 6. And sometimes it does get slow, okay? Which is usually why we have these already booted up before we even do our videos. But I wanted to show you guys this one here because I wanted to show you guys how to tell if it's Earth facing or not. This is the view from Earth, basically. This is the satellite that sits out in front of the Earth. Okay? Now you guys can see already that this sunspot, this right here would basically be directly Earth facing. And typically, you know, you got the equator of the sun. Directly Earth facing is actually a little bit above the equator. Okay? Just to let you know. Now it's loaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys get a better look. Again, I want you guys to watch this sunspot. You're going to see it light up. Alright? Now look at the timestamp. Okay, timestamp says That's at 5. That's on the 5th at 1800 hours, which would have been what, 8 o'clock? Is that 8 o'clock? Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. Or is it 8 o'clock? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Sorry, guys. Anyway, at 6 o'clock yesterday, UTC. And again, this takes us way back. So what I want you guys to look at is up here at the top. Again, pay attention to this sunspot. So I'm going to rock it forward. You're going to see it start lighting up. You seeing all that action right there already? See that? Okay, then we get closer and watch the timestamp. That's at 2. That's at 3. You see that little explosion? And watch this. Boom. See that? Okay. That's something we're not seeing on LASCO C2 right now. Okay. Or Core 2. We can't really see it on Core 2 either. See that? You guys can clearly see. And I'll zoom in. Look. That's what we call a CME, guys. It's a small one. I don't think it's very big. Now I can't tell because I can't see how long its duration is yet, because it doesn't let us see that far yet. It hasn't happened yet. Okay, that right there is what we're looking at. Okay, so when we say pay attention, we mean pay attention, because this is something that is rotating. The sun's rotating this direction. This right here is directly Earth facing. So this thing is moving right into the area we have to pay attention to. This sunspot, in my opinion, is not going to slow down. Now it could diminish. All right. The last time it came Earth facing, because this thing has been around for weeks now. Okay, it did. It got close to Earth facing and it kind of petered out. But then it re-upped over on this side and just really got active again. So this is how we tell. Okay. Now again, what I'll do. Okay, there's that CME. Okay, I'm just gonna call it a CME. I guess it could be a flare. I can't tell yet because we don't see anything after this. Now, it could have blown this direction, or it could have been blowing this direction. Can't really tell in this model. Now, it could, when they do blow, they usually spread out some. So I mean, even if it didn't blow directly at the Earth, we could catch a blow from this. I ain't saying that we are, but we could. Very well could already be going to see an effect from this sunspot. All right. Now we've seen it peter out there at the end. Now see, this is what is concerning me. You see, okay, I'll show you the boom. Okay, there's the initial one. Okay, and then we go further. Look what it's doing at the current time. See how it's getting bright again? Look, it's doing it again already. It's getting ready to do it again. This sunspot is very, very active. Alright, so please guys pay attention. I want you guys to be able to not have to come to my channel just for a quick, hey, is this Earth facing? Just go here and look real fast. I'm definitely going to keep you guys up to date. This isn't something I'm going to let go. But if you want immediate, information like that, Scott's real good about getting it out real quick like too. Now something else I wanted to show you here real quick. A few hours back, right about at the turn of the day, this happened too. You see that? That's just basically a filament release. It didn't release all the way off, so I don't think it's an issue. And what do I mean by all the way off? You can see where the energy went out and then went back to the sun. Okay, that's why it's looped like this. Okay, if it was a CME and it blew, you would see it come here, then it would kind of spread out from itself and it wouldn't go back to the sun. That would be a CME, but this one didn't do that up there. And again, that wasn't Earth facing. So, But what we have to pay attention, like I said, guys, this sunspot. All right. And I'll just show you again. There it went the first time. Boom. And something interesting that I always find interesting, you'll see like a shock wave go across the sun. Like a ripple. Watch. Boom. See that? Okay. And then as we get close to current time, boom. It's getting ready to do it again. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there to you guys. All right. I hope you guys, I was able to show you guys something here. I really wanted to try to give you guys the tools to be able to understand this. So yeah, keep an eye on that, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink.